Focal sent along 2 headphones for review. 2 headphones that I'm sure I'm going to butcher the names of throughout the course of this review. It's the Azurys and the Hadenys. They're really similar in spec, though one is open back and one is closed back. What's similar is they're both made from plastic with metal in the headband and also decorating the ear cup. They both have fabric cups. They have ear cups that swivel 90 degrees to lie flat. They both feature a 40mm aluminum Magnesium M-shaped dome driver. They both share an impedance of 26 ohms, a connector jack of 3.5mm, and they both come with a fabric-wrapped hardshell case. The closed-back Azurys retail for $549, and they're blue. The frequency response is 15 Hz to 22 kHz. The maximum SPL is 100 decibels. They weigh 306 grams. They come with a 4-foot 3.5mm cable with a 45-degree jack, and the cable has a remote control and a microphone. The open-backed Hadenys retail for $699, and they have a frequency response of 20 Hz to 22 kHz with a maximum SPL of 105 decibels. They weigh 294 grams, and they come with a 6-foot 3.5mm cable with a 1/4-inch screw-on adapter. They both look really similar. I mean, apart from the color. The Hadenys is brown with a hexagon pattern on the ear cups, and the Azurys is blue with circles on the ear cups. I have to admit, I have a touch of trypophobia, so these headphones were really close to triggering it for me. They're also really close in weight, and just holding them up in my hands, I couldn't tell the difference. The way that Focal is positioning these headphones is that the Hadenys is for at-home listening, and the Azurys is not. Therefore, commuting to work, using them in the office, and being around people. That sort of thing. Being closed back is helpful because if I'm recording our SORTA Hi-Fi podcast with Carlo, I need something closed back that doesn't leak a lot of audio that would get picked up by the overhead mic. Whereas the Hadenys leak sound, so they're perfect for use at home, especially at night if I want to watch a movie like Blade Runner and I don't want to piss off the neighbors and get evicted. This is the headphone to do it on. The ear pads on both are a medium size, not too big and not too small. They fit over my ears perfectly. Overall, they both look really nice. If you were to ask, I would say that I like the Hadenys a little bit more because of the less ostentatious colorway. They're a bit more subdued. And also, the material on the ear cups is just softer and just feels more comfortable to wear for hours on end. Overall, both headphones are relatively neutral with a... Oh my god, this is such a contradiction. Maybe a slight rise in the bass and maybe a little bit of a boost in a tiny bit of a boost in the treble. I'm so bad at these descriptions. But the rise in bass is more noticeable on the Azurys because it's a closed back headphone and I just notice it a tiny bit more, but this is only if I'm flipping back and forth between the headphones, which is what I'm supposed to do with these things. Playing Leon Bridges' Coming Home was noteworthy on these. Played off the Activo P1, the bass isn't muddy or bloomed, the mids are very much present, and it's easy and engaging listening. And up top, depending on how loud I go, it airs on the easy side of present. It's only when I crank up the volume to a zone that I'd rather not get into that it gets a tiny bit grating. Also, I have the volume close to maximum on that player because for some reason it doesn't go loud enough on that Activo one. And then running the same song back and then switching to the Hadenys, I had heard that open back headphones don't have the same punch in the gut bass as their closed back brethren. That's hard to say. And I found that a little surprising because on my HG650s from Sennheiser, it has a nice deep bass. It's not accentuated too much, but it's deep and present. And the Hadenys do follow suit. And this is maybe shocking to people that watch my videos because I always talk about how much I love bass, but I feel like it sounds better and more balanced on the Hadenys than the Azurys. I actually just prefer them more. But then when I play pseudo echo from Consequence at my desk via the Cambridge Audio DAC Magic 200M, it's got a big, stinking, nasty bass line in this song. It's drum and bass after all. The Azurys edge out the Hadenys with bass presence, but it does feel like I changed the EQ. It's fuller down low with the lows bleeding over to the mids a little bit, whereas the Hadenys are just more neutral, and the atmospherics and subtleties in the track that enhance the song are more present, which makes listening over time more enjoyable because I'm not missing out on smaller little details. And then also the treble on the Hadenys, and this might just be my own personal bias creeping in, feels a little bit less pronounced, and I enjoy that sonic signature more than I do the Azurys. And then scaling up to the TAC UD507 DAC preamplifier headphone amplifier with Desire Path from CERN. The drums are really frenetic in this track, and I do notice a bit of smear on the drums, especially the shuffles on this track, and I do notice it more on the Azurys than I do on the Hadenys. And then if you're worried, no, it's not all drum and bass. Switching to Jungle Fever from the Chaka Jazz, shouts to Dirk Diggler. The left-right separation on this track is jarring on headphones. I much prefer this track on speakers. But again, the lower end is a bit more bloomed on the Azurys. The heavy breathing seems deeper than it does on the Hadenys. It's funny, even being a bass head, I much so prefer the sonic presentation of the Hadenys over the Azurys. It's more balanced, more neutral, more even-handed. And while these aren't priced like super high-end headphones, north of $500 is no small sum either. And I much so prefer my music to sound like my music versus a boosted version of it. This is a really interesting release from Focal, and it's my first go-around with headphones from their brand. And at $500 and $699 respectively, they are entering a fairly crowded marketplace, and I'm curious to see how they actually fare. And myself personally, just dipping my toe into this world of headphones, I'm curious to see how these stack up with headphones that I might get in the future.